What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. I want to talk about Lightsmith, Holy Pally. If you have not been around in season 1 of the War Within, then you will have never played this build, because this is the only build we played in season 1. And now that we've gone to season 2, every Holy Pally and their dog has changed over to Herald of the Sun, because there were some big buffs that came through to Dawnlight. There were buffs to Eternal Flame. There were buffs to Holy Shock, and Holy Shock gets like Luminosity, and it's got Sunseer kind of combinations there, and Blessing of Anchi, which are all very, very powerful. I think Herald of the Sun is a really good tree. But there were some very recent buffs that came through that made me think about looking at Lightsmith again, just for fun. Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. And I tried it in some keys last night. I'm going to show you the footage there. Shining Righteousness now requires only 4 Shield of the Righteousness to activate a free Word of Glory. It used to be 5. This is the big one, though. Righteous Judgment chance increased to 100%, and Veneration transfers 280% of the healing instead of 225. So Shining Righteous Judgment is right here. This means that when you throw Judgment, you're guaranteed to get a consecration every single time, and the consecrations that are created by Judgment do not contribute to the limit of consecrations that you have. Okay, so you can actually end up having like 4 or 5 consecrations on the ground. Your natural consecration that you cast yourself has a limit of 1. You can only do that once, but every Judgment that you throw can proc a consecration and put it on the ground, and you can have multiple on the ground. So if we, let me just do this for a second, get as much haste as we can. So if we go yeah, we go like this, then we'll go wings. If I have bloodlust, it would be even better. There's my second Judgment. But another consecration. There's 3 consecrations down right now. There's 4 consecrations right there. You can see the ticking damage is going crazy. So this is the kind of thing that you can do now. When it comes to damage, I would say this dramatically improves your damage as a Holy Pally, because being able to have tons of consecrations on the ground, they actually add up to a lot of damage at the end of the day. And you'll see in some of the keys that I'm doing that I have a ton of consecrations on the ground, and the ticking damage gets kind of wild. There's the damage right there. That's obviously you know, that's just because of the example that we're doing. But my point is, this talent being changed is very, very good for melee wings, because when you're in melee wings, you get natural cooldown reduction on Judgment. They come back 30% quicker, Judgment and Crusader Strike. And whenever you press Crusader Strike, it gives you like 2 or 3 seconds off of your Judgment cooldown as well. So there's a world where you're just like throwing Judgments like a you know, all back to back to back, and you're getting lots of consecrations and you're doing lots of damage. And if you look at some of the keys that I have done, sorry, the damage is that, you know, consecration is at the top. It's even beating Sacred Weapon, which is typically what would be in first place if you're playing Lightsmith, would be Sacred Weapon. I did a bunch of keys, and I just some of them aren't showing, but this one I was trying the new bursting, even the trinket, I was trying the bursting light trinket, which is really, really good, and it still didn't beat out consecration. So this talent change on its own made me think about DPS as a Lightsmith going way up, and I think it's gone way up in my opinion. We did 560,000 damage overall as in a Theater of Pain here. Like, that's a lot, actually. Or Motherload. That was in a Motherload. Then the Theater of Pain, we ended up doing 513k overall. That's really good for a healer. The second change is Veneration. Veneration went from doing 225% healing to 280. Again, with Lightsmith, one of your primary buttons that you're pressing all the time is Judgment, because it triggers Hammer and Anvil. We're taking Truth Prevails. It has a lot of value now. And if your Judgments, if you're throwing them more often, it means you're going to be getting more Veneration procs for Hammer of Wrath, and you're going to be healing more, because this now heals for more than it did before. So those 2 changes right there actually made me think really hard about doing Lightsmith just for fun. And I tried it again in a bunch of keys yesterday. I'm just going to show you this Priory here. I'm just going to show you a few sections of it. But it seemed actually really good. The healing to me was quite good. What's really neat is that obviously with melee wings, it's a 1 minute cooldown. okay, not a 2-minute cooldown. So it only lasts for like 12 seconds or whatever, but having a 1-minute cooldown coming up very like every minute is so great because it kind of bridges the gap between your other cooldowns. We now have like 3 major cooldowns that Holy Paladin gets to use, right? You've got Divine Toll, and right now with the tier set bonus, Divine Toll is incredibly strong. You've got Holy Prism, which has been buffed like 3 patches in a row, and doing like a Beacon of Virtue plus Holy Prism will almost full heal your group. Like it does so much healing. It's crazy. And then you have your wings, either 2-minute Avenging Wrath or 1-minute Avenging Crusader. And having Avenging Crusader to me just made the whole thing really fit together very well. You know, in between your Divine Toll and your Prism, you can use wings, right? And the melee wings, again, because of Veneration being buffed, it's just like Judgment, Veneration, Judgment, Veneration. Like you're just Hammer of Wrath, sorry, is what I'm saying. But you just get a lot of value out of that. And then again, on the damage front, we're talking about consecration damage primarily, and you can see there's a lot of damage going on there. Your AoE like burst healing is always going to be lower than if you were playing Herald of the Sun. That's just you know, you can't get around that. A 2-minute Avenging Wrath will always be better than a 1-minute Avenging Crusader. But the point is that you're going to have more consistent uptime on your 1-minute wings, right? You're going to keep doing it over and over and over again. You know, for every 1 Avenging Wrath, you get 2 Avenging Crusaders. So it depends on the damage pattern coming into your team, right? Do you need that consistency of having something up every minute, or can you get away with not having something up every minute? And I think both are fine. I'm not here to say that Lightsmith is better than Herald of the Sun. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is simply to say to you that I think Lightsmith is good. I think it's good enough, and it performed very well for me. And there were some moments in this key where we were in serious trouble, and the healing is just there. It's so strange. And I remember playing this in season 1, but if you've never played this build, there's a lot more passive healing that kind of goes on. You're just throwing like a Judgment, and it has a chance to heal everybody. It'll always heal everybody a little bit, but then it has a chance to proc Hammer and Anvil, which will heal everybody a lot more. And you're sending out the armaments, so you've got shields on people and swords on people, and there's Tempered in Battle, which basically says if you have an armament on people, a sword or a shield, there's a chance that their health, like mostly the sword actually, they can get extra healing from like overhealing, and their health can get redistributed if they drop below 40% of their HP. So you have this built-in sort of like insurance policy with Tempered in Battle, which was really good in every one of the keys that I was doing. So yeah, I was just very impressed and surprised, because my impression coming into season 2 was that Lightsmith is completely dead, because almost everything on Herald got buffed. The beams, the Dawn Lights, Holy Shot got buffed through the roof. I mean, it's a very good tree. Almost everything on Lightsmith got nerfed. Hammer and Anvil, Tempered in Battle, Truth Prevails on your spec tree. So I was like, well, there's just no chance it would ever even be close to performing the same way. And that's just not true. It actually performs fine. The damage is good. The healing is good. I was very surprised by the healing. Let me get after this first boss here. We'll go after the first boss, because we go up the hill here and into the cathedral. This is really, really good. So he's going to double pull here. This is where it gets kind of crazy. So we have, in this particular moment, he wants to double pull, sorry. And you're going to get multiple sacred tolls going off, where it's like, ding, you know, it does AoE damage to your whole group. So this is a pretty dangerous moment here once these sacred tolls start going off. And I will turn the volume up just a little bit so you can hear some of it. But what you want to do is you want to have everything prepped. So again, we have, we're using Beacon of Virtue. I'm not using Beacon of Faith. So the first divine, here comes the first sacred toll right here. So I'm going to pop wings, I think, for this one. Virtue plus wings. And then we're going to go Crusader Strike, Judgment. We're doing melee damage in order to heal our group. There's the second sacred toll. Watch the health bars. There's the third sacred toll. I'm still in wings. I've covered 3 sacred tolls with my melee wings, which is insane. I literally have Prism coming back and Divine Toll, and I have a shield I can put on somebody too. There's another toll.
Coming again. We got divine toll.
So we'll use divine toll plus virtue. There's another sacred toll coming.
Here comes another one.
We'll use prism, right?
Here comes another one.
There's another one. We're just regular healing now.
Hammer of Wrath, regular healing.
And then there's another one. So it's just like sacred toll after sacred toll after sacred toll after sacred toll. And you can cover it. You can cover it with the melee wings, covered 3 of them. And then we had divine toll and prism. And you have your shields that are going out. You're getting a hammer of wrath procs to do a bunch of healing. It's really great. And then you get moments like this as well. You still get the awakening procs, which do an enormous amount of healing if you have Beacon of Virtue as well. So I do Beacon of Virtue right now. Look at everybody's health bar. I'm going to throw this Judgment. It's going to proc Hammer and Anvil guaranteed. And everybody's health is going to shoot way up. Boom. Those are the kinds of moments you can still have with an awakening proc, which is really nice. And then that gives you a veneration proc as well. You can see really quickly. I'll do one more time. I'm going to throw my Judgment. That gives me a veneration proc. Then I throw Hammer of Wrath. Okay. I'll throw Hammer of Wrath. Then I'll throw Judgment again. And it'll proc veneration to give me Hammer of Wrath again. And I throw Hammer of Wrath again. So it's like you get these moments where you just get back to back to back Hammer of Wrath throws and Judgment throws because everything cools down so quickly. And it's just incredible. Getting an awakening proc is like still as exciting as it used to be in season 1. It's very strong, but it feels like now, unlike season 1, you're not entirely reliant on getting a crit from your Judgment to proc Hammer and Anvil. That was like you had to get that in season 1 or you were kind of screwed. Now they buffed Holy Prism, they buffed Holy Shock, they buffed Divine Toll, they've buffed so many things, so many baseline spells on Holy Paladin that I feel like you could run any build you want. Seriously, you could run any build you want and it would be fantastic. And this build is working great. I wasn't even running actually Truth Prevails yet, so I do that in the next key. But man, I'm telling you, like, this build just works very, very well. Let me show you one other section at the end here, the difficult section with Brawn Pike. Not Brawn Pike, but there's the mini boss up here. What's his name? It is Brawn Pike, isn't it? Yeah, it's Brawn Pike. I guess there's 2 Brawn Pikes. This guy must be the this is Sir Brawn Pike. I guess he's the brother of Baron Brawn Pike. So we run over here and we pull these packs first because we were worried about where the patrol was positioned. We didn't want to pull the mini boss quite yet. So I pull all these extra guys in. We're going to kill all these guys. And then we're going to end up getting the patrol walking in right here. There's the patrol. So we kick the fire bolts, thankfully. And then we go from there. People are going to start dying, which they're going to explode and do AoE damage. All these little risen footmen or whatever. You have to be careful with these explosions. I bubble here because I thought I was going to die. And then we have no cooldowns right now. But again, they're all coming back really quickly. Prism's coming back. Wings is coming back. There we go. We're going to Virtue, I think, here. And then clean all this up with no cooldowns. That's the other thing, too, actually. I forget. You get cooldown reduction on Lay on Hands. And it really was noticeable to me. Man, look at that healing. What was that? Was that a Judgment? This Hammer of Wrath? We take damage. Just watch this Judgment. It's Wings plus Judgment. I'm going to do Crusader Strike and then a Judgment here. Right here. Watch the health bars move. Boom. That's a Hammer and Anvil proc inside of Wings. Your Judgment is already healing because you're inside of Wings. And then it's healing again because of Hammer and Anvil. And then I have beacons on everybody. So they share all of it. I mean, it's a crazy combo. But yes, you get extra cooldown reduction on Lay on Hands with this build, and that was very noticeable to me. I really noticed that I was getting Lay on Hands back so often. It was really crazy. Okay, I have an Awakening proc on my Judgment here. Here comes Sir Brawn Pike. I'm going to go Virtue into Judgment. Watch the health bars move. They're just going to go boom. Like, that feels so good. That moment feels so good, man. You can't replace that. There isn't really anything quite like that in Herald of the Sun. Again, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. I actually think genuinely, I think both builds are very good now. I think they're both very strong because the baseline abilities of Holy Paladin have been brought up so far. I think you could run either hero tree. I just notice these moments with Lightsmith when you get those crits on the Judgment. It feels so amazing. And then once again, We're, you know, slowly working our way through Brawn Pike here. We get our wings back again. I think I wings at the beginning of this pull, didn't I? Yeah. Look at this. Oh, no, I didn't. It wasn't up yet. Sorry. 30 seconds. I had an awakening proc, which is like getting wings, right? So then we're into a real wings proc here, and we can slowly just work everybody's health bar up, and it feels really great. I'm telling you, man, it just look like it's so good. Every time you throw a judgment, it just, watch this judgment right here. We're going to throw it. Boom. Those health bars go up again. It just feels fantastic. I'm telling you, it feels really, really good. So, yeah, then we pull an extra pack because we need to. Now we have an awakening proc again. This is another, watch the health bars again. Boom. They go back to full. It just feels great. If you didn't play this build, if you haven't played this build yet because you didn't do this in season 1, I would highly recommend you give this a shot. It is a very different playstyle from Herald of the Sun. No focus on Holy Shock at all. All the focus is on Judgment, basically, and Judgment becomes one of your top healing spells. It's very, very cool. It's very different. You have 1 minute wings, which is great. You do have to be in melee to get the 1 minute wings to work. So just be aware of that and be careful with that. You're going to have to get used to playing it. It's a very different feeling playing this style. It's completely different than doing Herald of the Sun. So like you're much more melee. You don't really have any range spells. Like you can obviously cast Holy Shock, but it just doesn't have the same kind of oomph that it does in Herald of the Sun. So just be aware of that. But it is a great tree. It has a lot of other strengths. Again, Judgment being one of the biggest ones. And I just think the new having Consecration trigger from Judgment guaranteed now really helps to increase the damage. The damage of this hero tree is kind of massive now, and we'll look at the numbers at the end here. We end up killing Merprey right here, and there's the damage. Look at Consecration. 27% of my damage was Consecration. Okay, again, that's because I'm putting multiple Consecrations down with Judgments. I'm putting my own Consecration down. It's really good. I have Divine Guidance here, which is the extra Consecration damage that you get from the hero tree, which I think is fantastic. We don't really run the other choice node now. It does a lot of damage for you. So yeah, it's quite strong on the DPS front from there. And then there's your healing. Holy Bulwarks are still in first place because you're taking the talent that has a chance to proc random bulwarks all the time. It's a fantastic talent. You get a bunch of shielding. Word of Glory, and then there's Avenging Crusader. That is my melee wings, giving me 10% of my overall healing, which is pretty good. Beacon, Holy Shock, Hammer, and Anvil, 5.4%. We've got Veneration, 3.6%, a little bit lower than what I would have thought there, but that's just, it really varies on the different keys. Tempered in Battle, there's all the stuff right there. So I have been very impressed. This is what I want to say. It impressed me how good this build was. I'm going to link it to you down below. If you want to try it out, go try it out. It's really fun. We are taking Light of the Martyr now because they took away the negative, the really harsh negative benefit or negative part of Light of the Martyr. But yeah, I'll link my build down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think Lightsmith is back. I think you could easily play this build in plus 13s, plus 14s if you wanted to try it. I don't know about the super high keys yet. I haven't got there, but anything in like 14 or below, you could easily play this and perform really well. So thank you so much again for watching. I love you guys. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you in the next one.